Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Top Producer Mindset podcast. I'm Serafin, your Director of Operations, of course, here for Equity Smart. And today I'm joined by our CEO, Pablo Martinez, and our Division Manager, Angel Quinones. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to become dual licensed in California. As some of you may know, because we're in California, you are actually able to practice both loans, doing the mortgage, and real estate as a loan officer and agent with our company. And we want to spend a little bit more time today talking about that and some of the pros, cons, benefits, and how you can work with a esteemed mortgage broker like us at Equity Smart, and on the division real estate side, Clovis Realty. But I've said enough. I want to go ahead and have our CEO introduce himself and say a little bit more about this topic. So why don't you go ahead and take us away, Pablo?
So Pablo Martinez, CEO of Equity Smart Home Loans, and this is a topic that's dear and awesome to me because it's something that we've been dealing with for a very long time in our industry. In the sense that long ago, when I got into the business, it was not a thing for someone to be dual licensed, right? It was kind of like stay in your lane. If you're going to do loans, you're going to do loans, and if you're going to do real estate, right? And that's always been the mindset, and for good reasons, right? And back then we didn't have the technology that we have now. Loan packages were far thick. There was a lot more heavy lifting with files that had to be done on the loan side, which if you were trying to do real estate could, hinder any real estate work you're trying to do for your customer and bring down that quality, right? So a lot of people just decided to say, well, I'm going to be a loan officer or I'm going to be a realtor. And that's just the way things were, right? And even till recently, for me, like maybe even, 9 years ago, I would still tell agents, no, stay in your lane, get good at real estate or get good at loans, but you can do both, right? And then we see companies like United Wholesale Mortgage and some other companies emerge with some amazing technology that made the process of processing a mortgage loan a lot easier, a lot more efficient, a lot more quicker, right? And one of the things in California that we had going for us is that you had to have your real estate license in order to get your to be a loan originator, right? So the Equity Smart was established first with a Department of Real Estate license, and we got that license not to do real estate necessarily, but to do loans, right? And as I saw that technology becoming more efficient, now we didn't have to get wet signatures. We could get e-signatures. Customers could email in their documents, and now the
Right.
loan officer's territory, geographically grew. They can do loans not just in their local area, but
Uh
they
huh.
can go outside of their local area.
Definitely. Yeah.
hmm
So
And
I'm sorry. Go for it.
now go.
No, no. I want you to finish your thought because I was going to bring Angel into it, but I wanted to hear.
Yeah. So so then just recently, maybe like 9, 8 years ago, thinking started shifting because I'm saying, wait a minute, I myself as a loan officer started seeing that I was becoming more efficient. I had more free time. And with this free time, what could I do with it? Right. Me being a managing or an executive in Equity Smart, obviously I had a lot of things to do within the company that you know, freed me up from having to just be stuck on these loan files, right?
Hmm.
And but for someone that didn't have those responsibilities or duties, let's say someone that wanted to get into real estate, now that opened up the space for them to get into real estate. So little by little, I started seeing this shift in my own mind. And I think, I met Angel, maybe what, like 10, 15, I don't even know. It's been so long, right?
15, maybe like
15,
15 years
15
ago
years
It's been a
now.
ago.
while. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a while.
And
yeah.
he's always been an awesome real estate agent. And I started kind of whispering in his ear the thoughts or planting the seeds in his ear, like, "Hey,
Get your
let's
mortgage
yeah, get your mortgage license,
Yeah.
get your mortgage license."
Yeah.
And it took him a minute too to like, right? It
To get
wasn't
on that
Yep.
train. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
it
Yeah.
wasn't something quick for him either. He wanted to get it. He said he was going to get it.
Actually, when I met you, I was doing real estate and we sat down and we got to like a meeting of the minds and you realize something and you're like, "You know what? Like you should get your mortgage license." And I started the process, but I never finished it,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So you were already like thinking that way for me, but it just everything has its timing.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. Everything
and
its
for
own
me,
time.
and what I saw in you, Angel, was that you're a thinker. Like I know you're a thinker, and I know that real estate is something that is more, active and more physical, and you're out there showing, and more of a personality type of thing.
Right.
And in speaking with you and getting to know you better, I realized that you're good at problem solving. You have good critical thinking abilities, and I'm like, wait a minute, this guy can do loans too. Like you're
Mhm.
like, why not, right? And so we started having those conversations, and I started having those conversations with other people that I thought were able to do loans as well. And fast forward to now, and we're in a place now where we're actually advocating it, and
Mhm.
we're we're promoting the ability to do both. And again, it just had to do with a big shift in technology. And one of the reasons I don't see like the whole industry like flocking to this thought or this or doing
This
this is
model, yeah.
is because a lot of people are stuck in that old thinking still, like, "Oh, you gotta do
Yeah.
one thing or the other." They
Yeah.
haven't realized that the technology on the loan side has gotten so fast, I mean, so good and so quickly that the mindset hasn't kept up with what can really happen right
The
now,
the
right?
Right.
the technology has demolished the barrier of entry, and that's what I've seen it. I think that it's timing, right? So I believe that everything just needed to happen at the right time because when I stepped in and I decided to start doing loans and jump into it, the technology made it so much easier.
Right.
And it was feasible for me to be able to do it. So I had already like kind of mastered the real estate game. And in a way, since I'm a thinker,
Mhm.
it worked out perfect because I was getting a little bit bored.
Mhm.
I was getting bored doing real estate
Right.
where I'm like, you know what? Like I know what I'm doing already. Like
So you kinda
it's
hit, like, an upper limit, and you're like,
yeah,
I've already done this, I've seen this
yeah.
before," kind of, not necessarily on cruise control, but, like, you kind of seen most of the
I
situations
just
that you
I
needed to
I like
see.
to be challenged.
Yeah.
I like to be challenged. And once I came across the whole mortgage side of the business, I dove in and it was like learning something new.
Right.
And it intrigued me and it got me.
Uh-huh.
But then once I jumped in it and I started doing it, I realized how much of the real estate activities I missed because when you do loans, you can sit here in front of your computer and you can make money just sitting here.
Yeah.
You don't have to move a lot. And when you're doing real estate, you're just a runner.
Right.
You're out there showing properties, you're meeting clients, you're meeting inspectors, you're moving around a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So I started doing loans and I started originating a lot and it worked out perfect. Like I said, it was timing.
Yeah.
Worked out perfect because it was what around like the refi boom hit
Yeah.
and the rates were super low. So I
So it's, like,
capitalized.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I capitalized because I had such a big book of business already. And I just went back to my clients and I told them, hey, look, I became more in order to be able to bring you more value.
Yeah.
And they already trusted me.
Yeah.
So they started all refinancing with me and I just hit the floor running.
That's really kind of an epic phrase to say, "I became more so I can deliver more," you
Yeah,
know?
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that
That's
also.
really good. It's
Yeah.
really good. I actually wanna go back a little bit because I know that, when you first started, when Pablo started to plant that seed with you, right, that, you mentioned that, you started and then you stopped, right? And then you kind of were, like, in that sort of place, right, of, like, "I know it's something that I can do, but you didn't really pursue it until around that time, right before the refi boom. I'm wondering, like, what if you can just like elaborate, what was the main resistance you were, coming up against, and what finally changed your mind to finally like make originating a part of your business?
So when I met Pablo, I was what, maybe like 2 years into real estate. So I was fresh. And my goal was like, let me the same thing, same mentality. Let me be good at this first
Hmm.
and let me make money because I wasn't making any money. I was just getting started.
Right.
So I'm like, how do I balance like loans and real estate? Like I gotta be good at something and I gotta start making some money with it. So I did start the loan origination courses and all that.
Hmm.
I had an MLS number assigned to me already. I did take some courses, but I got really busy doing real estate.
Yeah.
So I put it aside. And then I like to be challenged. So what I wanted to do first is like I wanted to master the real estate game. So I got to a point where I realized that my next move in order to grow was to get my broker's license. And I got my real estate broker's license.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, my next move is like I gotta open up my own shop. I got to
Right.
open up my own shop, recruit, start getting agents, and start making commission off these agents.
Right.
You know, and I remember I had a conversation with Pablo, and he was like, "Dude, like that's badass, like I commend you for getting your broker's license. It's great that you're making this move." And I branched out. I left the company and I opened up my own shop in downtown Fullerton.
Okay.
But it took that for me to realize that that wasn't the path I needed to take.
Yeah.
So I needed to explore my ways in order to understand that that was not the way.
Got it. Okay.
So a year into it, I realized that I was really struggling because it takes it in order to make money as a real estate broker, you need a bunch of agents under you to start making your commissions.
Right.
And when I had that conversation with Pablo, he mentioned that too. Like he gave me props for it. I mean, we're good friends. We got to keep going. But he threw the curveball in there too, and he's like, if you wanted to make money faster, you should get your mortgage license. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I let it be, and then it took a year for me to just figure that out. And then I came back, and I was like, you know what, Pablo, like. I think it's time, and I need to get my mortgage license
Yeah.
because the market it got crazy for me. I was spending so much time becoming a manager and recruiting and trying to build an office that I let my production go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a great sales agent,
Yeah.
but I wasn't maximizing my time, maximizing my abilities. And then we had that conversation, and I said, okay, give me maybe 2 months. And we had I had a call out to him like within the next 2.5 months, and I had my mortgage license.
Yeah.
And I said, what's next?
Everything just lined up for you.
Yep. I
Yeah.
said I
Yeah.
said what's next, and I was ready to just like the biggest, like ego is like your friend, and it's also like it's your biggest enemy. So I got a little egotistic about it because
Okay.
like I started to grow, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready, but like I prematurely just left. I
Got
left
it.
my company, and I
Right.
and I
Right.
brokered out, and I opened up my own shop, and I figured that out. I
Yeah.
figured it out. It's good that it took me a year to figure it out
Right.
because there's people that do it and they go under for 2-3 years, and it's just so hard to come out of it.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
So
Definitely.
I recognize it, and I think that was like the biggest thing for me. Like, okay, you know what? I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I'm not a quitter, but I'm also not stupid. So
Yeah. 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 I hear you.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I grabbed that and I made my move, and then we partnered up, and then we realized that like, hey, I can still keep doing real estate here because I
Right.
had my real estate license, and he's like, we have real estate division,
Yeah.
Equity Smart Real Estate Services,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and then just in working and putting the efforts in, like we realized like what a great opportunity there was here because I had already mastered the real estate game,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's great that, like, because I think a lot of agents like think that the next step is like, I'm going to be a broker. Right. And I think like to pay respect to that sort of like energy that like people have, they want to grow. Right. And
Exactly.
sometimes like, what is seen as to be like the common trajectory actually is like fraught with a lot of difficulty. I mean, like we know, because like I basically, I
Yeah.
handle all the operations for the company. And I always say this, like the right tool for the right situation. And if you are gonna like crush it in the sales like, game, your talents are going to be they're not going to be leveraged in the admin organizational side of it unless that's what
Nah,
you love, right? If you love that
nah.
too, that's great. But most people, when they know what they're good at and they like get a thrill out of it, like that's what you want to put at the front of your business, right? And that's why I think we do so well at Equity Smart, is because we see that energy and we're just, okay, how do we scale? How do we create something based off of that sort of desire to continuously grow, right?
And the great thing about where we are right now is that we're not greedy with our time or information or our ability to be able to help others grow. So like I've gone through a lot of things,
Yeah.
like I have my broker's license, like I've struggled, like I've been broke, like this business has like put me through a lot, but like I'm still here.
Still here. Yeah.
So I talk to agents that are coming in and they're starting to do their thing, and I'm like, dude, like, look, I'll open the whole doors to like the back end of like what I know and what I know how to do, and it shows. It
Yeah.
shows, and like what is it? Success is when you create other successful people,
Yeah.
and that's been instrumental
Yeah.
because like it's just a natural thing. So it kind of it helps feed the person that I am too,
Yeah.
which is freaking awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and I've seen that as well with you. I mean, just to, bring the viewers into context, you were our top producing hybrid loan officer slash agent in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I do think that I think 2020 or 2021, I think you had somewhere around 20 to 26 like transactions closed on the real estate end. And you I think had somewhere around 50 or so loan transactions closed as well. And it's honestly
Yeah.
huge, right?
Yeah.
Because you were doing something that a lot of other people just couldn't even fathom, right?
Exactly.
And there's a certain sort of bandwidth issue that you're going to run into as an agent that unless you've hit the top limit, you won't really see. And that's there's only a certain amount of transactions you can realistically do at your standard of performance, right? And you're going to get to a point where you can't do any more than what you can do, right? That's when you need to become a broker and do that whole thing. However, if the goal is to grow your business, if it's to be able to help more people, impact more families, becoming a dual, hybrid agent is in your best interest because you're able to impact more people and also get more commission, right? 26 on the real estate side, that's no joke. That's actually really really good, right? When you compare that to like national averages and even state. Um, but to also have that, in addition to everything you did on the loan side, you're talking about a huge, huge upside potential, right? For being able to increase your income and ultimately impact more people, right? And that just has a great downstream effect for the rest of your business, right? Now you understand more sides of the transaction, more sides of the deal.
It's huge because we're in the referral business.
Uh-huh.
So doing what I do, like I open up all these doors to be able to get referrals. Now I'm getting referrals for people that want to purchase, and now I'm getting referrals for people that want to list and sell.
Right.
And I'm getting referrals for people that want to buy. I get a buyer referred over to me from one of my buyers. Guess what I'm gonna do? Like, hey, you know what? We need to get you pre-approved. Here's my mortgage application. Here's my
Yeah.
link. Complete it. Once you complete it, then we'll go house hunting.
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
like, hey, you know what? I have a mortgage partner. Let me send them out. Let me send you to them so that we can have you complete your mortgage application. Look, technology's changed the whole space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have not taken a single mortgage application over the phone or a written application. It's all been online. I grab my
Yeah.
link, I send it out, they complete it. Like everybody has access to, even if they don't have a computer, they have a phone. Everybody has a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the things that that can't be like understated, the idea of control, right? And being able to you're not depending on someone else to more or less get the loan done. You know from both sides, right, how this is going to work. And so I think that's great. But I want to bring it back to Pablo now because you know, Pablo, this whole all of this is only possible with the you know, because Equity Smart was ultimately built with both pathways in mind, right? So I'm wondering if you can just share a little bit more about, what was kind of going through your mind when you started to build Equity Smart under the Department of Real Estate, which allows for this to happen, as well as some of the challenges you faced while, putting that vision forward.
Yeah, so, I mean, initially, the license at the time, I was only aware that we can get licensed through the Department of Real Estate, and that's what we did. We didn't really have the real estate in mind, like I mentioned before,
Hmm.
because we figured we're going to be a hardcore mortgage company, right?
Yeah.
I did have a vision early on that we wanted to expand into other states and cities because the actual original name of the company was United Cities Mortgage. And in fact, I went through my garage and I found an old wooden plaque that I'm going to bring to the office that says United Cities Mortgage. That it's so cool because
Oh,
it's a
really? Oh,
a
wow.
relic of the
I
past.
didn't even know that existed.
And looking at it, it's just the vision I had that the United Cities meant that we were going to have different mortgage branches in different cities, and they're all gonna be united, right? And so it would have been UCM. That would have been the company of we would have kept the name, right? But, it's strictly, uh, uh, mortgage driven. We wanted to partner with real estate companies, provide them all the great, service, and provide experienced loan officers to their agents, programs, products, and all that great stuff, right?
Yeah.
And, like I mentioned earlier, over time, we realized that, through the technology and the efficiencies that we're experiencing through the mortgage, that now it became realistic that realtors that were getting bored, like Angel
Yeah.
and some of these other agents that I've come across, that like, hey, I can handle the loan transaction now. I can do both, and they go so much hand in hand together that you're not skipping a beat. I mean, you learning to be a strong loan officer just makes you a stronger realtor, and you being a stronger realtor makes you a stronger loan officer, because you're going to handle everything at the same time. And the huge side benefit for someone like Angel, or someone that's was their agent, you're not dependent on calling a loan officer, waiting them to get approved. Everything that Equity Smart Home Loans offers you is in your fingertips. You have all the underwriting engines, you have everything you need to be able to give your customer solid approval. And then you, as an agent, you're not wasting your time showing a family a house that may not qualify because the loan officer fumbled the documents, right? You're going to make sure the quality of that approvals is at its best, because you're the one that's going to be driving the people around, right?
Hmm.
Now, I'm very clear and get it that this is not meant for everyone, right?
Hmm.
To do both, right? But the fact that we're able and we're at the forefront, Equity Smart and Clovis is at the forefront of offering this to the public, to the world. I think it's a great thing, because I always say this in my recruiting speeches. You're not going to find a platform like ours in like a Remax, Coldwell Banker, and all these big brand names. They just do not offer a lending division to their realtors. The best you're going to get is they bring an outside lender, they pay them referral fees, but then a lot of times the realtors have to contend with inflated rates because they have something negotiated in there for the broker owner of the real estate division,
Added in
right?
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it puts the agents, it puts everyone at a disadvantage. And with our model, when we approach brokers, we want to conserve the great pricing. We want to conserve everything that puts the borrower and the loan officer as a priority, so that the loan officer can give the best rates, and we're not factoring in other, hidden costs or prices for anyone else, right? A lot of brokers don't like it. Real estate companies don't like it. Some that embrace it, it works out really well for them, because there's not a whole lot of money to be made with us,
Hmm.
but because at the end, we're all about empowering the loan officer, right?
Right.
And that's where we win, and that's where we do really well. And we want to, the most recent couple of years, have you guys noticed, we're in
Hmm.
the same team, we've really expanded this vision of hybrid. And the stronger we build Equity Smart, the stronger we build Clovis, the better we're getting there. And a lot of agents are starting to wake up to this new reality, like, wait a minute, why not do both? And where am I going to find the company that's going to be able to do both, right? And I think that we have such a head start on other companies that I feel we're strongly positioned to lead and pave the way for this hybrid agent that's starting to emerge. And again, I think we all can
Yeah.
agree that it's not
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
certain
Definitely.
individuals that you know, can go beyond just showing homes and have that ability to think and want to utilize their mind, because we know that loans is problem solving.
Yeah.
And I'm glad and I'm happy that we're in that forefront. We're present to it. We're aware of it, and we can see that it works. And we have a handful of agents that are living this now and bringing this reality. So if anyone that's listening to this, check us out.
Yeah.
Check us out our website. Get a hold of
It's
Angel. Get a
it's
hold of me. We'll explain how this works, and get good at one thing and then migrate to the other, or vice versa.
Yeah,
Or what do you recommend,
I
Angel?
mean, just keep in mind that it takes a growth mindset to be able to step into a role like that. So you gotta be willing to grow, and you gotta be willing to let go of certain things when it's time. And in order to be able to do that, then you gotta take some leadership in your life too, because I mean, I have a team behind me, and it's taken time to build that team. So I don't do everything, like I don't get stuck with the paperwork. I don't do the processing. I try not to administrate as much as like I don't try to paper push. Why?
Hmm.
Because like my role is to be out there selling. My role
Right.
is to be out there getting new clients, servicing the client, and I'm talking to the client.
Yeah,
But
and,
it
100%.
takes a growth mindset to do that.
yeah, and I think I know you can speak of this. I think you're starting to see, we have people that come in as loan officers, and little by little, you're seeing a gradual people coming to you and saying, "I want
Yeah.
to do real estate." Can you speak on that?
Yeah, yeah. So we're in the process of transitioning a couple of the loan officers that we have, and I'll tell you what, like they're 100% invested. And just by them doing that and taking on the tools and resources, for example, they got to join a board. They'll join the board. They'll have access to the MLS. Like now, they become more and more powerful and a better resource tool for their client, because if they're out there approving clients and getting them all set and ready to purchase, guess what? Like now I have the ability to be able to search for properties too. So let me see what the inventory looks like even before I let you loose and we go out looking for properties. Like you've created an atmosphere where you're protecting your client 100%, and you can give them like up to date data because like you have it at the tip of your hands.
All right.
But just by talking to specific loan officers, like um, it takes a specific person to really like jump into this and do it. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and then I've
In
taken
the hybrid, you mean, right?
as a hybrid, like
Yeah.
doing both mortgages and real estate. And I've seen the changes. When we went from like a high like refi boom to like now it's a purchase market, but you gotta stay nimble.
Yeah.
You gotta adapt to the changing market. But by you having the opportunity to jump into both roles, it's like driving a car and being able to jump on the carpool lane. Like if the traffic gets low on in your regular lane,
Yeah.
here's your HOV lane.
Yeah,
Just
or
jump
Yeah,
or
on
or
it.
or even being
Yeah,
able to navigate different
yeah,
terrain, right?
yep,
Especially with a market like this where, like, it just we're not seeing as much mortgage activity, but there's still purchase going on, right?
exactly.
So if
There's a
you
ton of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and we're still actually busy on that
yeah,
side of the business too. So that versatility actually proves to you, right, against having a market like this where if you're only a one trick pony, guess what? Like you better do more tricks,
exactly. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
You
one
know?
thing I want to
Yeah,
touch in that for the audience that's listening, like for me as a loan officer broker here, and it's crazy because I pushed Angel to do real estate and loans, and he's doing that, and he's highly successful at it. I myself, I'm weak at real estate, and Angel knows it. And it's not because I don't want to learn; it's just because my time is split between the loans I was doing and just managing the company, and so when it came time for me to do real estate transactions, I was happy that Clovis had opportunities where I could practically hand the deal over, and the TCs and the team there at Clovis was amazing. I could continue on and work about my day, and obviously, yeah, I take a bigger hit on my commission, which I don't mind because it frees me up to be able to do the things that I really want to focus on. Because I don't want to go. For me personally, I don't want to learn the whole real estate. I got a great understanding of it because of all the purchase transactions I've done, but if you're a loan officer, you're joining our companies here, you don't have to be fully vested in real estate. We create opportunities for you to make income, and we have a team in place, and I think we can speak on both ends,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Because it's not like you're giving up your commission. It's more like you're investing.
awesome. Okay, well, one of the things I want to talk about actually, because we know that there's a lot of versatility, a lot of usefulness, a lot of utility, right, in being dual license, having that hybrid role. I want to like pivot a little bit because this is something that does come up in some conversations, and that is the ethics actually of being dual licensed, right? So, before, right, there used to be ethical concerns for a loan officer doing the real estate transaction or vice versa, right? And that usually stemmed from the idea that maybe that person who's doing both sides of the transaction is going to find a way to you know, um, basically enrich themselves by, charging the most amount of commission on the transaction to make the most amount of money, thereby hurting the consumer. It actually is still in some circles frowned down upon to become a dual licensed agent for that
Yeah.
specific reason. So I'm wondering, what do you guys think, with regards? Is that like a valid ethical concern?
So
How does Equity Smart come up against that question, and how do we position ourselves to make sure that doesn't happen?
so when as a real estate agent, if you're also doing originating the loan, you have to disclose it. It has to be disclosed, even like in your purchase agreement.
Right.
So on your purchase agreement, you write that you're also the originator for the buyer's home loan.
Mhm.
And there's disclosures that are coming out now. There's disclosures that the California Association of Realtors has put out. It's called the LBSA, which is the loan broker sales broker disclosure,
Right.
and that disclosure has to be basically shared with all the parties, and it has the information based on like what you're gonna make on the mortgage side. So you got to disclose that. So, like, we can see now that even the California Association of Realtors is taking measures to, because we're going in the right direction.
Hmm.
That's what it just shows me, that
Yeah.
like there's disclosures that are being put out for that because that's already taking play.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to like ethics or in regards to somebody enriching themselves with like a specific amount of commission, like on the mortgage side, we're capped. We're capped on how much compensation you can make. You're going to disclose it to your client. It's not like your client's not going to know what you're making, but the way I like to see it is like I'm not charging commission, I'm earning it, and I'm earning it and I deserve it. Why? Because like I took the time, energy and effort to go out there and educate myself and become more in order to offer you more. So therefore the commission that I'm earning and I'm getting, like I'm working for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pablo?
I mean, for me, it's there's always going to be bad apples, right? And any type, even we even have bad
Yeah.
cops, right? And here at Equity Smart, I think we try to do a good job. We do background checks, we interview the people we work that we bring on board, and I think the market itself, at least it checks me and makes sure that I'm not overcharging my bars. A lot of bars are pretty savvy. They know what I'm making on on the loan side. They're going to see what we're making on the real estate side, and all that's negotiable. And as long as the borrower agrees, they know that you're doing both transactions, then uh you treat your customers fairly, they're going to know you're earning a commission, then I don't
Right.
see a problem. And Angel, by the
Yeah.
way, I saw that form and I think I had a conversation with you guys about that
Yeah.
form because I was
Yeah.
shocked that
Yep.
now you have to literally disclose
It's
your
there.
income, and I was like, what's this? And I don't see that as a bad thing, because the bars should be aware of
Mhm.
what you're making and they see value in it. But my hope and what I'm hoping to see, and maybe you can back me up on this after I say this, is that now that you're dual license and you're doing the loan, you're doing the real estate, that you say, what, this is actually a pretty easy loan. I'm going to make my full commission, and then I'm going to help them out on the loan side and give them discounts. And I'm thinking that moving forward, as these hybrid agents get stronger, they're going to be able to, give discounts and pretty much help the bars, because now they have access to both transactions, and they're able to
Right.
do things that maybe other agents are not able to do. Whereas where you have a separate loan officer who's trying to make his max amount, and then you have a separate realtor that wants to make his max amount,
Yeah.
right? Now you have the same individual. And if you're a long career thinking minded loan officer, loan agent, hybrid agent, we all know that to have longevity in this business, you gotta be fair with your bars. You can instantly get a bad reputation by overcharging, by not disclosing. And the worst part that I've learned in this business is that when you do something bad, you might not even know about it.
Hmm.
They quietly will not refer anyone to you. They quietly go away, and then you
Hmm.
start wondering, why am I not getting business?
You
Because
sabotage your referrals.
yeah, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
sabotage your referral. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
smart agent wakes up and says, you know what? I'm gonna give my customer a great deal. In fact, I know this is probably off topic a little bit. I got this new refinance that I'm working on. The guy was with Chase, got a 5.75. I checked the pricing. I got him a five. I quoted him a 5.375. Today, this morning, I walked in and I was shocked to see that I guess the rates dropped today, right?
Hmm.
And I I looked at his file and I got him now to a 4.99.
Oh, wow.
I could have
Yeah.
easily
You could
I
have
could have easily
easily.
kept it at 5.3 and earned a greater commission. But you know what? I had the foresight to think, wow, this guy's gonna be blown away. He was already happy at the 5.3 that I beat Chase with.
Uh huh.
And now when he sees his new loan estimate at 4.99, I'm hoping that he talks to everyone about it,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
it starts
Yeah.
ringing in more referrals. So I have that foresight to start thinking that and let go of that extra commission that I might have earned,
Yeah.
because there might be a possibility with no guarantees that I might get more referrals. But I'm putting that out in the world,
Right.
that energy, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's gonna come back to me.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how it works. Like for example, like now we have that whole commission thing, right? With the NAR settlement. So being a dual a hybrid agent, now like you have the ability to be able to even like forego some of your commission on the real estate side because you know that you're gonna get paid on the mortgage side. So there's a lot of leverage. There's a
Yeah.
lot of leverage. There's a lot of things that you can do. And again, just how you said it, like there's good and bad apples, right? So a lot of people forget that like the deal that you close right now, like it's not just a deal today, but it's a deal for the future.
Exactly.
And that's why like I have a ton of referral business. Why? Because like I don't mind making a little bit to make a lot later on,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
it's great.
and
Yeah.
you just have to have the foresight, and now that
Yeah,
I think about it, it's up to us that are in leadership roles, like, I do trainings every Monday to I introduce that type of thought to the allos to see, like, "Hey, what's fair?" Like, "What is it that makes you guys successful?" It's that having that mindset, and I think for a company like ours that if our leadership thinks that way and looks at things that way, then that's gonna trickle down to everyone else because 'cause we're gonna be
exactly.
talking about it, we're
Yeah.
gonna be breathing it. And one of my models that I always live by is a golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. And if you do that on every transaction, what type of deal would I like to have in this transaction for myself if I was in the other side of this?
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
always, always when I'm in doubt, I default to the golden rule and say, how would I want to be treated on that other end? I want to get
Agreed.
that 4.99. It's going to make me ecstatic.
Yeah, and then you talk about it,
Yeah.
right? And also what I like is that it's doing it's doing the right thing with no one asking you to, because you just know that the value of actually providing this to someone, right? It's beyond the self-interested component of like, oh yeah, I can make more, and more like, how do I take care of this person, right? And how do I make sure that they have a certain experience that honestly is just incomparable, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what actually separates us from
And
other companies, other
I
brokerages, I'd
live
say.
for like that extra little
Yeah.
feeling of when you just do it right.
Yeah.
Just like it's just like this extra little feeling that you have on the side where you're like, man, like that feels
It
good,
feels
you
good.
know?
It's good
And,
when it's good when it's
Yeah.
good,
And by
you
the
know?
way, it's even here, like even you guys hearing 4.99, we haven't heard rates like that in a
I
while. So
actually am
imagine
super
he's gonna be
surprised.
talking about it, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
even like, whoa, a 4.99. We
Yeah.
haven't seen rates like that in 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
now. They've all been above
Yeah,
that. So I'm even shocked that I
I'm
was able to
shocked.
Yeah.
offer that.
I'm honestly shocked that
Yeah.
I you just said that right now.
Yeah.
And I think just to kinda summarize that little piece, it's that, like, having this sort of, versatility, right? If you use it the right way, is only gonna benefit
Yeah.
your client and yourself, right? And when you align those interests in like the perfect way, which is what we do here,
Right.
right? You are creating those win-win situations, right? You don't have to juice. In fact, we encourage you not to juice every single person for every sort of like, compensation you get out of it, because ultimately that doesn't create the win-win
It
situations.
doesn't.
You already have so much available to you when you're working on the agent side and the loan officer
Right.
side, right? And so you can, use that as a sliding scale for your client. Hey, they need a little bit more help here. Okay, let me slide my commission here. I can even give a credit to my client. So I think it's really good that we can offer that here. And like Pablo said, that us in leadership do coach our loan
Right.
officers and our agents to treat their people fairly, with an eye to the future of how they create that repeat
And
business.
it's
Yeah.
a powerful role to be in as a hybrid agent, but it's like they say, like with great power comes great responsibility,
Okay,
right?
Uncle
So
Ben.
yeah. We're yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
and
Yeah.
I think if you prioritize the service and the experience you're gonna give your customer over your commission, you're gonna win every single time.
You'll
agreed.
do well in this business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll thrive in this business.
agreed. Okay, so I do wanna mention a little bit now, just about, like, how can you become, like, dual license, right? Or, like, because that's something that I find is, gate kept by, like, a lot of different companies. They don't really make this information available, but I wanna make it available for everyone listening, so that way you know that, like, we really do believe in sharing this information, democratizing it, and just making it available to you, so that way you can see if it's right for you, right? And, the first is that if you are a loan officer under the Department of Real Estate, you already have this available to you, right? You already are able to work as a loan officer and as a real estate agent. It just depends on whether your brokerage allows it. Like I mentioned earlier, some brokerages won't do that.
They
They
won't.
won't allow you to be in both sides of the deal. They may have some sort of like agreement with, I don't know, some other company, or it can be a perception thing. We do not have such restrictions here because, again, we believe in providing this information to you, and we ultimately think it's in the best interest of our consumers, of our clients, right? The other part, right, is that we do get real estate agents that want to practice loans, but they're already working with a real estate broker, right? Or they can be working with a Coldwell, KW, EXP, wherever, right? and they're like, okay, I like to do this, but my real estate broker doesn't have the capacity to perform origination. Well, the good thing is that with a company like us, we are licensed under the Department of Real Estate and the DFPI, Department of Financial Protection Innovation. I hosted a training. We'll go ahead and link that in the description of this podcast below, so that way you guys can see it in full length. But to summarize, we have the capacity to actually work with agents from different brokerages so they can perform origination with our company, and we have a very fleshed out system to actually make sure that it's a as smooth and pain free process as possible. One of the things that I focused on when I first got into or became a director of operations was making sure that the onboarding was as smooth as possible, because it's very can be a little rocky, I think very rocky for other brokerages. We have it so dialed in now that you can get your license with a DFPI within weeks if you have everything, properly set up, all your, do your licensing fees paid, all that kind of stuff. And we have all the infrastructure for that. So we support that. And we do have some agents that work with other brokerages that do their loans with us, and they love it, right? So we do have that capacity here. I really do invite you to
Yeah.
check it out, see if it's right for you.
Yeah.
Angel said, it's not for everyone, right? And it's not. I'm not going to sit here and say like you should do this because it's the next great thing. I will tell you though, be curious about it. See if it's something that you think you could work with, and I think
It's worth it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth to explore. So I do, I invite you to check that out.
Can I say something
Yeah, please
on
go
that
for it.
because
Go for
you're
it.
on that topic? So and if you're an agent that's in a Coldwell Banker office or a, EXP, a big office with a bunch of agents, you could be the first hybrid dual agent in that office, and everyone around you that's your friends and people you hang out with, they once they know that you're licensed as an MLO, guess who they're going to want to start sending business to? So be that first person in your office. Equity Smart will take you there, will teach you. We don't mind that you're there in those offices because you have all kinds of exposure and all kinds of opportunities with different agents within that Coldwell EXP office. Or we have tons of agents that are doing that right now, and they're able to capitalize not only on the real estate transactions they currently get with their own customers, past clients, and all that, but also the people around them are opportunities because those agents are getting customers that need to be pre-qualified, and who better than someone that works close to you to get help you with the qualifications, right? So if you're thinking about getting your dual license, and this great
Yeah.
conversation we've had here piqued your interest, come check us out. We'd be more than happy to get you going. You don't have to leave wherever you're at. You can continue
Hmm.
doing where you're at. The only thing, we're enhancing your ability to just provide an extra service, and that's what we're gonna do for
You
you
gotta
guys.
you gotta capitalize, and just remember that everybody has a different story, so like Pablo said, if you're a if you're a real estate agent that's working in a real estate office, you're surrounded by real estate agents, and you also have your mortgage license. Like, capitalize,
Hmm.
capitalize where you are. Again, everybody has their own story. So also, like, with our company, if you're real estate license, and you just have your real estate license, you hang your license with us and come work with us.
Yeah,
And if you want to just talk a bit more about, like, how the process works, or the experience, that's like, maybe like the ins and outs, like, feel free to connect with us.
definitely.
Like, reach out to us. We can chat, and then just figure out your goals. You got to
Yeah.
figure out your goals, where what you're planning out for, what you're looking to do, and see if it fits, or find a way to be able to just mastermind with you and figure a couple things out.
No, I 100% agree. I'm so glad that we have, a company that allows for this sort of capacity. And, I think throughout this conversation, hopefully what you guys picked up on is that we just really love what we do, and we love that we get to share it. And so, if that's something that you think you might be interested, or you just want to see what's out there, maybe things have gotten a little bit stale. Maybe you're looking for that next move. And maybe you just want to see like, hey, what are they even talking about? Like, we are always available. We do have information sessions with us that happen Tuesday, Thursday, where we go over more about what we offer here at Equity Smart. And if you want to get more information as to how you could join, us, or just learn about how you can leverage a model like this, we would love to hear from you. We are just on that, trajectory and path to create the best company for loan officers and agents alike. I really hope that we get to have you join us on that journey. Um, Now, before I wrap it up, gentlemen, I want to ask: are there any final closing words you want to share with the viewers?
I like to say that, look, you're not going to find this setup through any real estate company because it's going to take a mortgage company to be fully developed like ours to train you on the mortgage side. The real estate sides, the Coldwell bankers, the XPs, and all that are not going to have that capacity. So again, Serafin said it. I'm really proud that we're in the forefront of this and we have the ability to train you guys. We're a company built by loan officers for loan officers. We've been in the trenches, we get it, and we understand what you're going through. So that's my quick spill on that.
Yeah, exactly. And just know that like we're not just managing here, we're not just leading, we're also in production. So we're out there originating, we're selling, we're listing properties, we're doing all of it. And I'm like a poster child of that. And I've been doing it for years. And I'll tell you that like it works, and money follows success. So like I'm here and I work every day and I show up and that's all it takes,
Yeah.
work will always set you free, man. If you're struggling, like just get to work, but if you can
Yeah.
maximize your time and work smarter, not harder. Obviously, you're still gonna have to work hard, but work smarter, not harder, and put all these tools and resources that we built in play.
Yeah.
It works.
It
It
works.
works.
It works. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone who went through or who listened. We're really excited that we get to share this with you. If you are interested, like I mentioned, there are going to be a few links in the description below. We do hope that we get to meet you soon. But that is it for this episode of our Top Producer Mindset podcast. Thank you so much for joining.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.